Hey, I'm Grant with Mountain Tesla. I ran into Shane here. It's a pleasure to meet you, man. I want to hear a little bit about what you're doing here with your taxi service here in Moab.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to meet you. You know, it's funny, I was telling everybody inside, I was just watching this guy on YouTube and I showed him and I said, he's right there. And I've been following you guys for a couple of years.
Awesome.
And at first I was jealous when you got the first ones off of the line. I'm like, mine's 48,972.
Okay.
So I've done
86,000 miles. And how long have you
in
owned it?
17 months.
Dang, that's a lot of miles.
So 86,000. You're welcome to look at the odometer if you want.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
tell us about this Cybertaxi, man.
How does this work?
Yeah,
I want to hear about
so in 2018 or 19, I stumbled on a YouTube video. Cybertruck is engineering genius. That's, you know, Stephen Mark Ryan solving the money problem. I stumbled on that video, and I owned a detail shop. And I was a car guy, so growing up in the 70s and 80s, I'm about the Trans Am that was in Smokey and the Bandit. I'm about the GMC and the Fall Guy. I'm about
the Firebird.
Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris, right? That kind of truck. I'm all about making money. Well, I went through a divorce in 2015, and I had been a detail, and I was always like, oh, those stupid electric cars. Oh, it's going to drive itself. What if there's a pothole in the road? What if the road's closed, right?
Right.
I was that guy, and I had detailed about 60,000 cars over 18 years with my system, and I was very efficient. So I began to be obsessed with Elon's efficiency and deleting parts and stuff.
Yep.
And so when I saw that video in 2019, I was like, if you go down there and you go, complexity, 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 and it's like, wow, one complexity, and I'm like, this is starting to make sense.
Yeah.
And then rock chips skip off instead of crack right away. So then if you put a topper shell on a 6-foot bed, it always stays a 6-foot bed, but how come I can put in an 8-foot 2x4 in here? You asked what I do. So this is what I do. I pick up drunk people, and then I bet them $100 that they can't kick a dent in the door. If you'll notice, my wrap, I didn't spend a lot of money. So see this? I just clamped that around the edges. I took a razor blade, cut it, just slapped that on there, and got it done in 2 hours. Clamped that around the edges so it doesn't come off in the car wash. And what I do is I go around Park City, Utah and Moab, Utah, and I give rides to drunk people, and I get their egos going. I say, hey, I bet you $100 you can't kick a dent in this door. And they're like, I bet I can, you know, and I'll bring a sledgehammer sometimes too. This is actually a true story. I have videos to prove it. I can show you.
Okay.
Again, I've even had young guys, kids, I call them, but they're like 20 to 30, they run through the air with both feet in the air and hit like both feet and fall on their back, and they're like, and I'm like, I'll give you $100, but if you can't, well, I only got 40. Okay, if you can kick a dent in the door, right, then I'll give you my 100, but if you can't, you give me your 40. So that's what I do. No, just kidding.
That's my gig. That's how I make all this money.
So after the divorce in 2015, I just started driving my life away in Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
And I wore out head gaskets and timing belts and radiators cracking and transmission slipping and wearing out your brakes and spark plugs and catalytic converters and mufflers. And I'm going, oh, it's not about saving gas and saving the planet. It's about if you drive a lot. So I wore out 5 gas cars in 3.5 years doing Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
Now, because of the divorce and not seeing my kids and stuff, I just started driving my life away. Like, just all day and night.
Just
so,
drive.
And I had a rental car that I put 80,000 miles on in 9 months.
Wow.
Learning and figuring out algorithms and patterns and stuff. So 2018, I see the video about the Cybertruck. My kids got older, they start getting busy, they're chasing, you know, boys, they're chasing girls in high school, and they don't got time to see dad, and I'm like, I think I want that crazy Cybertruck. That's not on Uber and Lyft. It is on Lyft regular, but that doesn't pay enough to justify it. But so it's not even on Uber, so you can't do that. So that forced me to go commercial and get the proper insurance, and then I got badges to Salt Lake Airport and this airport, your permits, and then I just was exploring here in Moab on some trails and go for personal research, just having fun. But because they saw Cybertaxi and everything, they sent me a letter, and all right, so now I can go do that stuff, and I can take people to their campsites and stuff. And last September, I had a couple call me in a panic. They went down the Colorado on 2 separate paddle boards, and they had their little daughter with them, and they're and then it didn't pan out, and the weather changed, and they end up on the side of the road, and they call me, and they got 2 paddle boards, and I can go, and so
yep, right. Yeah, there you go.
And that was before I got the cover, and I just closed the thing, and I pinched it in, yeah. and I thought about it, this thing, and I started realizing, wow, you're gonna gain an extra couple feet here, and I'm like, this is genius, I gotta have it. So I contacted Patrick with Urander, and he got me hooked up, and
nice.
And so now I can throw a canoe on top, 12-foot ladder, what do you call it, kayaks. That happens, it happens. And so that's what I do
that's awesome.
In Moab, Utah.
I like your little LED sign, and if people see you there. That's a pretty cool gig. I like it. You're standing out and helping people and doing your own thing.
It can be emergency, it can be work, it can be hauling somebody like that story with the paddle boards or something. Or one time a guy flew in on a flight, but he had 2 mountain bikes because there was a bike race or a marathon or something going on, some kind of bike rally. He had 2 mountain bikes, a wife, baby, car seat, luggage, big things, tools to put the mountain bikes back together. And that was before I got this cover on the back, and it was no problem. So people ask me, they're like, what do you do, taxi and a Cybertruck? I'm like, it makes total sense.
Yeah, it does.
And then in December, when it's dead here, Park City, it's skiing and skis, luggage, everything. And then, so down here in Moab, the street cred is dusty, dirty, cap, red here, red, flat black, kicking the doors and all that. Up in Park City, it's shiny, get rid of all the bling, get rid of most of the letters, and it's go to a wedding. Or it is 4 a.m. in the middle of a snowstorm, and you got all these skis and luggage, and plus it was a wedding, and we carried, it's like, it makes sense to me. Like, what is everybody confused about? Like, you're doing taxi and that, like, what made you do? I'm confused about what's the question?
That's awesome. Well, you're the only one doing it, and you kind of paved the way, right? So people are like, well, why? And then it makes sense when you explain it.
Kids will be like, I want to ride in that.
Right, the kids love it. And
so in all of the hotels, and I think I gave you my business card already, but all of the hotels, I have my business card, and even one of them, I have a big poster that holds it, and it's this way, a picture of the Cybertruck, and it says Cybertaxi. And I know when the kid's sitting there looking at it while mom's checking in at the hotel, it's like, oh, there's no Ubers, right? So in Moab, the airport, Uber and Lyft are banned from that airport.
Really?
Right. So there's not a lot of flights, but the 2 that come in every day, it's a perfect opportunity, and it makes sense. This is just air ducting tape. This is the black air conditioner tape.
Okay.
So I did some of this, and then I got tired. I'm like, oh, this will go faster.
There you go.
But anyway,
you don't gotta worry about it.
The guy backed right into here, and thank God he had a tow hitch, because if he hadn't, it would have crushed everything. Backed right into me, and all it did was tear the wrap.
Yeah. That's awesome.
When people are in the car, and it'll say Starlink right there, and let them know, and it's got the QR code and everything.
Awesome. So they got Wi-Fi wherever they go.
And so if you were to text me the first thing I have right on the thing is I'll ask, but then I'll just send, right? And then you'd get how to open the doors, my website, the Wi-Fi password, Cybertruck rules, right? So by the time before you even approach, I'm on my way. I'll see you in 20 minutes. Watch all this before you get. And then they just walk up and they figure out and they get in. They got the Wi-Fi password already, and
so you're totally independent, your own business.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah.
And what's your YouTube channel?
TheSimpleGig.
TheSimpleGig. We'll put a link in the description below for you guys. That was really cool. And Shane, it was awesome meeting you here. I mean,
it's
awesome
like
to meet destiny. You. Here comes all the Cybertrucks. He's thrilled. This is usually just him out here. And
I've been here to this. So my friends and my girlfriend Tamara Frida with the NANITES in Moab, the greatest band in Moab. They play here frequently, and so I'd been here so many times, and I'm the only one, and it can get rough sometimes.
Yes,
especially in Moab with all the gassers, which I am one. That's what's funny is I've been in your shoes. Right. Have you been in my shoes?
Right, we're not hating on that.
Because I am the guy that thought that meant power and freedom. Now it just means head gaskets and timing belts and radiators cracking the train. Going down the drain, money doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's like,
I'm with you,
so
man.
I've been a loner in this parking lot so many times. This thing, actually right here, this is actually my parking spot.
Heck yeah.
And I got the suspension memorizes when to pull in, raise up, and I can climb up in here. And I've been the only one, and I've been carrying violins and guitars and speakers and playing the only one. And so this, now look, 10.
Yeah. I'm thrilled to see you've made your own business, and you've been able to use the Cybertruck the way you do.
So another detail about the story that I'd like to share, because it's very heartfelt. I started out after the divorce. I drove around in a 2000, first a Model S, can't do anything, like a 2014 Model S. Then I got a Model 3 with full self-driving, and I drove around with a Matchbox car Cybertruck glued to the dash of the Model 3, and then later on the Model Y, which I got a license plate called Cybertaxi. This one's Cybertaxi, that one's Cybertaxi, just to manifest it even more, to prove to my kids, every ride. And then because that Matchbox car was there not only in front of my kids, but every ride I did, people would ask, "You gonna get one of those?" And I said, "I don't care if I gotta," and I would say something ridiculous that I gotta do. I will have one, and
here it is.
And then
you did it.
Now
awesome,
in
man.
Moab.
Heck yeah, this is awesome. Well, we hope to see you around, and man, if we ever need a lift, we know who to call.